taking the opportunity today to tell you a spooky festive story and do a bit of drawing for you off that story while I do. So today we're going to be talking about Saint Nick, the origin story of Santa. So Saint Nicholas was a bishop in Myra, which is where modern day Turkey is today, in the Roman Empire. And we all know Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick. We still call Saint Nick today. That's sort of the precursor to where that story's come from, and that comes from the fact that he's the patron saint of children, and also he was sort of a legendary secret gift giver, and all that over time has turned into the story that we know as Santa Claus today. So we've all heard that about Saint Nick, but do we know all that much about him? And I'm sure I'm not the only person that has only recently heard about his brief stint as a necromancer, and that is what we're here to talk about today. Necromancy is obviously the magical art of raising the dead, which is generally associated with really sort of dark magical practice. But here is a story about good old jolly Saint Nick practicing a bit of necromancy. So this story takes place in Myra when Saint Nick was a bishop there, and it tells the story of three young boys who went looking for food. They came upon a butcher's, knocked on and asked if the butcher had any food that he could spare, could put the children up, just sort of pleaded for anything really. The butcher welcomed the children inside, but not to be hospitable. Instead, he planned to slaughter the children and sell their bodies as meat, which is what he did. So he slaughtered the three boys, chopped them up and put them in a barrel to be pickled. Sometime later, and some sources say that this happened straight away, some say that this was 7 years afterwards, so they were well-aged brined children by this point. St. Nick came upon the butchers and instantly knew what he'd done. The butcher didn't have to say anything, there weren't any signs. St. Nicholas just knew what had transpired, that this butcher had murdered these children and that they were in the back in some brine being pickled. He spoke to the butcher, at which point the butcher confessed all, pleaded forgiveness, showed St. Nicholas where the bodies were, and it said that St. Nicholas came to the barrel and held up 3 fingers, one for each of the boys, and the meat in the jar came together, reformed as the children, who then became alive again, and very shortly after St. Nicholas's intervention were 3 healthy living boys again who could go and return home to their mother. So St. Nicholas raised these little zombie babies from the dead and returned them to their mother, and it said that that's one of the stories that is said as the reason why St. Nicholas became the patron saint of children. But I just thought that was a really weird story about cannibalism, necromancy, zombie babies, all these weird things that you don't really think about with Christmas, but it's just part of that creepy, dark folklore that we seem to get at this time of year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little story. I hope you also enjoyed that although he was in the tale holding his 3 fingers up in order to raise all 3 of the children, I also like to think that he was saying, how many puns can Sean get into one drawing of this story? And it's holding the 3 fingers up for the 3 sweet puns that I've got going on here. But yeah, just thought I'd share that little story with you. If you like this sort of thing, drawing and telling spooky stories, there are some longer, slightly better researched ones on my YouTube channel that I used to do, my illustrated ghost stories. So if you've been following me for some time, you might have already listened to my illustrated ghost stories, but you can find them through the link in my bio if you haven't. And there are a couple of Christmassy ones there, including a ghost story for Christmas telling of the Toll House. So head over to my bio and enjoy there. All right, thanks, bye.